In the desktop publishing column in this month's PC User magazine, I'm having a look at creating email publications in Microsoft Publisher 2003. Microsoft Publisher 2003 has some new email templates which make creating publications that are designed specifically for emailing to people very easy. I've chosen File New, and that opens this new publication task pane. Here I'm going to choose Websites and Email and then the email options to see what's available. I can choose a newsletter, a letter, an event which involves a speaker or an event which involves an activity, a product list or a featured product. Now, the choice that you make doesn't really matter terribly because what you want to do is choose a design that has most of the elements in most of the places where you want them to be so that the amount of work that you have to do customizing this document is as little as possible. So choose the design that works best for whatever it is that you're going to do. Now, I'm going to do a email notification of an activity, and in actual fact the activity one seems to suit my purposes fairly well. So I'm going to slip down here and look through these design templates to choose the one that I want, which is the Photoscope one. It's quite a pleasant design for the purpose for which I want to use it, so I'm going to click it to open it. Here's the email document design in Publisher. It's not actually a newsletter, we're going to call it an invitation, but it is an email designed invitation. I've used the Photoscope design, and so I don't need to make any changes in here. I can make a change to the font scheme if I want to, but only if I understand that the document is, well, how the document's going to be displayed when it's received by a recipient. It's going to be in the body of an email message so that the fonts that are used in the publication must be available on my recipient's computer for them to show properly. For this reason, you should use what are called web-safe fonts. Now, there are a number of web-safe fonts, and Trebuchet MS and Times New Roman happen to be two of them. Arial is also a web-safe font, as is Verdana and Georgia. There are a few combinations here that are web-safe. Courier New and Arial is another combination. However, Bodoni MT and Franklin Gothic Book are not web safe, so you wouldn't want to use those. If you understand what web safe fonts are, you can come through this list and pick a combination that works for you that is web safe. If you're not sure, then the Email Wizard default is a good combination. Trebuchet MS and Times New Roman, it looks pretty attractive, and you can reasonably be assured that those fonts will be available on most people's computers, so that the design that you make should be seen fairly much as you've designed it on their computer, within the limits that are implicit in HTML documents at the best of times. The color schemes option allows you to select the color scheme for your newsletter. Now, I already have a custom color scheme that is a default for my system, but you can select any of these color schemes that is available to you, or one that you have designed yourself. I'm going to choose Desert because that's quite an attractive one for this particular document. I'm ready now to close this dialog, and now I can size up the email document which Publisher has created the basics for me, and now I can start customizing it for my purpose. So I'm going to click in here to change the event or activity title, because I've got a nursery opening and plant sale. And then I would put in here details about the event. Here I can change the time. It's going to run from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the date, I'm going to set that as the 25th of January 2006. Then I could type in the location here. I could put a brief description in here if I want to. This is a hyperlink here, there's Learn More, which I can hyperlink to the website, for example, of this company. To do that, I'll choose Insert Hyperlink, and in the hyperlink dialog now I can type my hyperlink. So it's going to be HTTP, and this one is going to Salvation Jane example. And let's click OK. Now that's configured that as a hyperlink, so that when I control click on that in Publisher, I would open up this website, or when I when it's received by a recipient, they can just click here to learn more about this particular event, and we would hot link that to some part of the website that had that kind of information on it. Here is a picture placeholder. I'm going to right click this and choose Change Picture Clip Art so that I can replace that image with a suitable floral image for my nursery. And then I'm going to remove this particular element, this sign up now, because it's not necessary for my recipients to actually sign up, so I'm going to remove that. And I would continue through making changes to this email intended document until it looked exactly the way I want it to look. I have one already done, and here it is. This is the one that was featured in the magazine. So this is already created and already finished to the point that I am now ready to test it. I want to save my publication using File Save or File Save As so that I've saved the current design. This is important because I may need to come back and make changes to it because something may not be working, or I might want to come back a bit later and send it to a different group of people. I need to preview the document to see how it looks, and for this I'll choose File, Send Email, Email Preview. Now you might be tempted to use the option which is Web Page Preview, but this is not a web page, this is an email message, so instead you should use Send Email, Email Preview. What this does is open the document in a web browser. It's opened here in Microsoft Internet Explorer 6, and so I can use this to check to make sure that the document looks okay. When I first did it, there were some words missing here, so I had to move my boxes around. So it's important that you come in here and double check to make sure that everything that is informative is actually displayed, that there aren't any things that are overlapping each other and blocking each other out. But now this looks pretty good. It's ready to go. The next part of testing it is to send it to myself. So I'm going to choose File, Send Email, and I'm going to choose Send this page as message. There are two options here. Send publication as an attachment will send the publication as an attachment to an email message. Now, this might look attractive, but in actual fact, it's a really big mistake to make. It would assume that all the recipients had Microsoft Publisher, because if they don't have Microsoft Publisher, they won't be able to view this attachment. So you won't want, in most cases, to be using that option. You'll want to use the Send this page as message option, because this will send this page that you have created inside the body of the message, and it won't require any particular software to view beyond an HTML compatible email program. So I'm going to choose Send this page as message and watch as the Outlook style message header appears, and as you can see in the message area is the web page that, or the email page that we have created. So what I do now is type in my own details, because I'm going to send it to myself to make sure that it looks all right before I send it to all my customers, because there's nothing more embarrassing than finding that you've sent out something that doesn't work or doesn't look as it should. And then I'm going to type in a subject, invitation, and then I would click Send to send that to myself. Once I've sent it to myself, once I've received it and viewed it in my email software, and if it's okay, I have a reasonable expectation that it's now in a form that it could be sent to my customers or clients or friends or whoever. At this point, you can see that the Outlook address book icon appears here, so I could click here and select addresses from my Outlook address book. I could use an Outlook group. For example, if I had all my clients in a specific group, for example, called clients, then I could email them directly from here. So that's really the essence of creating a publication for email. There are a number of new designs that you can use in Publisher that are specifically designed for email purposes. Select the design, customize it for your particular purpose. Then you're going to come in and save it as a Publisher document in case you need to make changes to it later on. Preview it to make sure it looks all right in your browser, then send yourself a copy just to double check, and then you're ready to send the publication to the intended recipients.